Nothing better to do on a hot day but bitch about some shitty movie, right? Hey guys, I'm the hardcore kid. Hardcore enough to review kid stuff. And you know, for every good movie that's out there, there's always something plaguing it. Like maybe it's a bad sequel, or a lame parody, or some lame TV series, but probably the biggest culprit of them all are the rip-offs. There's a lot of guys out there who like to watch stuff on the big screen and become inspired by what they see. They want to be just like these filmmakers they idolize, and someday see themselves making movies as well. Unfortunately, there are some people who can never seem to grasp the concept of creating their own production without knocking off the elements of what inspired them. Take, for example, Steven Spielberg's E.T. This movie is a sci-fi classic with great effects, great sense of humor, and a legacy that has continued to be strong for almost 30 years. There have been re-releases, toys, video games, a ride at Universal Studios where he calls everyone's names. Trust me, I've been there.
Joey, Elliot, and Cody, Greg, Eliana.
And he's even made a guest appearance on Nickelodeon Guts. How awesome is that?
E.T.'s got the medal.
But alas, I'm not going to be reviewing E.T. today. Oh no. Instead, I'm going to be reviewing the E.T. ripoff, Mac and Me. That's right. And trust me, if you thought the video game was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. Mac and Me was directed by a guy named Stuart Raphael. According to his IMDb page, he's done a lot of work directing and writing a lot of obscure wilderness-type films and cheesy sci-fi flicks, none of which are really worth writing home about. So, what was Mr. Raphael thinking when he came up with the idea for Mac and Me? Well, whatever it was, I kinda doubt it had something to do with inspiration. In fact, after watching this movie again, I have a feeling it had to do with something a lot uglier. So without further ado, let's pick apart the mighty Mac and Me, shall we? Now, I know you guys have waited a long time for me to say this, but cue the theme music! We start our epic adventure on a desert planet, where its only inhabitants are the mysterious alien creatures that get their nutrients by drinking water out of the ground through a straw. This is foreshadowing for the rest of the picture. I don't know, I'm feeling pretty uncomfortable just looking at these things. They look like albinos wearing bodysuits and Halloween masks. They make weird whistling noises like R2-D2, and they have these things on their heads which I'm guessing are supposed to be horns, but they look more like alien testicles. And probably the most obvious problem with these costumes is that the mouths are always in this weird O face and never move at all. So if you're looking for any emotion from these characters, you're just gonna get one. Of sheer horror. How fitting. This movie's already started and I'm horrified already. So things seem pretty peachy for the aliens when suddenly a NASA space rover lands on their planet, collecting rocks to bring back to Earth. However, the aliens get too curious for their own good, and get sucked into the machine in probably one of the lamest special effects ever made. Hey, gotta give credit to NASA for being able to come up with a super sucker that can suck up human-sized creatures in an instant. Man, if we had that shit here in Jersey, we'd be able to clean up all that garbage, no sweat. Sweat. So the aliens are sent back to Earth, but when the robot is brought into the laboratory, the aliens quickly make their escape. Oh, and apparently these aliens also have the ability to make shit randomly blow up. And while I do enjoy watching shit blow up, I don't enjoy watching some ugly rubber blow-up doll running around aimlessly in front of a green screen. Yeah, because crashing cars is hardcore! Unfortunately, the hardcore factor is eventually diminished when it turns out the guy in the sedan did not become a street pizza, and for no apparent reason is doused with CO2, which gets everything but the fire. Class. However, our alien friend sneaks off, but not before being spotted by, holy shit, Danny Cooksey? Quick, Budnick! Get your ass back to Camp Anawanna before Ugg finds out! And then makes fun of you!
It makes me wanna fart!
But anyways, the alien hitches a ride inside an old minivan, where he then proceeds to drink a nice refreshing can of Coca-Cola. This will be the first product placement of this movie. And certainly not the last. Hey, British guy, hook me up with some more Poland Springs!
A fucking omelet with 2 eyes. It must have been some sort of alien.
Hey, my daddy's coming back. You think it was a drunk?
It's probably an ADUI.
What?
An alien driving under the influence.
Lame. So the Mondo Bizarro Elliot here is Eric, a paraplegic who has just moved into a new house with his brother Mike and widowed mother played by Saturday Night Live cast member Christine Ebersols. Another former SNL cast member in a lousy production. The Saturday Night Live fever strikes again. So Mac enters the house completely undetected and joins Eric in his room, who is quietly munching on Skittles and playing with his RC car. Ah, big whoop. Remote control cars, they run amok all the time. Hey! Hey, cut that out right now! Hey! Hey! Hey, come here. Yeah. This little guy right here, he was an extra in Maximum Overdrive. So Eric starts to become suspicious of Mac's actions and starts following him around the house. Outside, he meets this hippie girl named Debbie, who earlier spotted the alien during her, enlightenment.
He went down the hill. Did you get a good look at him? Yeah, he's real cute. What did he look like? He's your friend and you don't even know what he looks like? I was just kidding. He's my brother. Your brother? Where are you from? Illinois. Welcome to the neighborhood. Looks like you'll be an interesting addition.
Yeah, especially since he come from the same state as that crazy idiot who does nothing but rant on movies all the time. Hey, like me! Ah! Ugh. Don't worry, I just had to pull the plug. Things eventually come to a head when Max suddenly transforms the house into the nature trail to hell. Mrs. Cruz takes it well.
Everything's ruined. It's totally ruined.
It wasn't me, Mom. It's the little creature. I saw it.
The house is totally destroyed.
What do you want me to say?
I don't want you to say anything.
Well, I was gonna say that everyone in this movie sucks at acting, but I can wait. Oh boy, now comes probably the most memorable scene in this entire movie. Eric goes into his backyard, which overlooks a ravine, but when he gets too close to the hillside, this happens.
Eric! Like... Eric, stop!
Oh, play that again! You know, I think this is supposed to be the part of the movie where everyone is supposed to feel sorry for the kid, but considering the obvious dummy, hammy screaming, and green screen effect when Mac comes onto the screen, it's almost hard not to laugh. In fact, there's a bit of a meme going on surrounding this particular scene. A couple times when Paul Rudd came onto the Conan O'Brien show to promote a new movie that was coming out, they would always show this scene as a joke, since apparently Paul Rudd is a big fan of this movie. In fact, I've got an idea, alright? I want to spread this meme around a little bit to my fellow reviewers. Whenever you're about to review a movie or a music video or something like that, instead of showing the actual video, play this scene. Like, alright, here's an example. Now let's take a look at the film Time Forgot and Would Much Rather Forget. Land Before Time 14! Alright? And now, let's take a look at the next level of hell, the hardcore yaoi Shotokan hentai, Boku no Pico! So yeah, try that out. You might get a few giggles out of it, and see what happens. So Mac rescues Eric from the water, wheelchair and all, and then wanders off. Back at the house, Eric is in bed talking with Debbie about what they've seen.
Why didn't you tell him that you saw him? Because nobody would believe it. What is he, some sort of ghost? I don't know what he is. You should back me up. It wouldn't do any good. They only believe what they want to believe. They already think you got schizophrenia. Schizo what? Freakia. It's when you see people that really aren't there.
Schizophrenian? That wouldn't happen to have anything to do with bipolar bear disease, would it? So that night, Eric sets up a trap to capture the alien. And please tell me, this doesn't resemble the scene from E.T. where Elliot leaves a trail of Reese's Pieces into his house, does it? Now check this out. Eric uses bendy straws to make a trail, and then he fills up cups of Coke for the alien to drink. That's right, the Reese's Pieces of this movie is Coca-Cola. You know, it's bad enough that Coca-Cola single-handedly destroyed Columbia Pictures with product placements in their movies, but when they start shooting off plugs and low-budget knockoffs that make even Turbo J USA's videos look good, you know they're just desperate.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
So the kids vacuum Mac up and... Yeah, remember when I said that I wanted to review a movie that was more down to earth? This ain't Earth! Oh no. It's the planet... Charlie Sheen. So Mac is blown out of the vacuum and Eric gives him a can of moose piss. Then when 5-0 shows up, he runs off again.
You sucked this living thing into a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, and then we blew him out again.
It's the truth, Mom.
No, I can handle it. I can, really.
Yeah, that's what you said when you ran for mayor in Black Sheep. Those who lose to David Spade, lose at life. The next day, the Cruzes wake up to find that their house has been cleaned up, but the alien is gone. As Eric and his mom go for a ride around the block, Mac decides to give chase on a KC cruiser, only to be chased by every dog in the neighborhood.
Well, it's a good thing those cars have those groovy ejector seats.
Cut back to the house and oh come on, enough with the Coke gags! Any minute now I'm expecting the Coke Is It jingle to start playing. So Eric and Mac start bonding a bit, and Mac gives him this sort of hand gesture that he uses to communicate with his family all throughout the movie. In other words, this is his way of saying, Mac phone home.